So how I came to coaching, that was a coming together of both personal and professional experiences that led me to coaching. I would say my coaching focuses a lot on leadership, confidence, and just showing up how we want to show up more of the time and in a way that we can feel proud of and is aligned with our values. And what initially attracted me to a lot of these topics was my personal experience with inner critics. So, I mean, I grew up with a whole army of them, it seems, and those inner critics said things like, oh, don't share your opinion. It's not right. Just do what you're told. Other people know better than you. And so listening to these inner critics, I was really crippled by fear at every turn that I would somehow make the wrong choice with damaging, irreversible consequences, whether that was where to go to lunch or what career to pursue. And the result was that I over relied on other people telling me what to do, how to live my life. And there was something very frenetic about constantly needing others to answer the question, am I okay? Am I doing this right? Is this what I should be doing? And at the same time, feeling even worse that my peers and my friends seemingly could figure this all out with ease. And I must just be the only one who can't do it on my own. And so, of course, the gift in having these loud inner critics was in recognizing just how crummy it felt to suppress what was inside me and just do what I was told. That didn't feel good at all. It was numbing, and I felt disconnected from my own intuition and emotions, and therefore disconnected from other people too. But through my own inner work, I realized that this practice of expressing ourselves emotionally, of expanding our self-awareness, that actually built my confidence. And that this way of building confidence, it's a muscle that can be strengthened. We just don't usually dedicate time to, hitting the inner confidence gym. But by practicing by practicing these skills, I got to know myself. I got to trust myself, my personality, and it really changed my life. It was the start of feeling more myself and feeling more alive, and sparked the idea that, wow, change is possible. And it's why my coaching business is called Inner Radio, because there was so much power in finding my own signal and letting it out. And so I began to wonder, hey, how can I help other people do that too? And so that was the kind of personal experience that led me to a lot of these deeper confidence, self-knowing topics. And then that begged the question of, okay, well, how do I acquire the skills, or how do I hone those skills to share that with other people? And before I ever knew about I was in software sales. And so I think this requires some explanation because on how sales and coaching relate, because I know sales gives people the ick, but stay with me. Um, so good sales is rooted in deep listening, curiosity, and asking powerful questions to discover what the person really wants and what stands in the way. So I hope that sounds familiar, or that sounds like a great coach. And good sales is also championing your point of contact, helping them feel prepared and confident as they go to the CEO and make that ask for that budget. Right. Also, something a good coach would do is help their client feel prepared and confident, and also holding people accountable. Hey, oh, how did that conversation with the CFO go? Oh, it didn't happen. What happened there? What did you learn? And asking without judgment, because judgment breaks trust, and you need trust to get a deal done. And so if sales is about figuring out who the ultimate decision maker is and what they care about. And I think coaching, through a lot of the same tools, helps people discover what they really care about and realize that they are the ultimate decision maker in their own lives. So I think about coaching a little bit like I'm helping sell people on themselves. So that's how kind of the personal and professional experiences came together, saying, hey, there's this learning about self-awareness that I learned myself, and now I kind of backdoor developed some good skills to help people do it through sales. And then came the choice of, oh, am I actually going to do this? And that was another choice point for me to actually step in and say, I'm going to be a coach. So the moment I decided to put those things together to become a coach, I was naturally at a crossroads in my career saying, hey, what do I want to do next? And it kept going through ideas in my head that revolved around, oh, what would look good on my resume? What makes sense? Which is very different from what is going to, breathe life into your soul and help you feel alive. And so I was in Lake Tahoe, and I don't know if it was just the expansiveness of the lake or the mountains, but I finally actually gave myself a chance to reflect, and I asked myself the question, hey, if you could do anything, what would it be? And what kind of bubbled up to the surface was, wow, wouldn't it be cool to have a panel of coaching clients and help people feel proud about the way they show up? That would be the dream. And so I thought, well, if that's the dream, why don't we just try that now? And instead of waiting for oh, I'll do it when. Right, of course, like, oh, I mean, I'm human, so of course I waffled, right? Oh, to be a better coach, I need more time as an executive. I need to be older. I need to have coaching experience already, which is, a surefire way to never get started. And so the thing that kind of actually uh, motivated me to just do it is I realized, what else would make me a good coach is if I just started coaching. So that's when I decided to, give myself some space, my time boxed it. I said, hey, let's try this for 6 months. If it gets traction, great. If it doesn't get traction, great. I'm still glad I did it and gave my dreams some oxygen, a chance to go. And I can always change direction. And so that was a gift to myself to give it a go. And that was almost 3 years ago. And now we're here still trying, and I still have a lot to give. So with my clients, I mean, that's the most rewarding part of it, to see the transformation in my clients. And because I focus on this leadership confidence, what I've seen is just people connecting with their inner leader, with their values, and just how their whole body, their whole essence shifts, and having them see that too. Having clients say, whoa, where did that come from? What just happened? And witnessing the magic of coaching and the power of the relationship. There's one client who comes to mind because her experience was really powerful for me. And she came to work with me because she wanted to focus on her gravitas. She said, I don't have what my male colleagues have. I want to be like him. I want his confidence, which was, just kind of heartbreaking to hear. And she had this huge inner critic, especially around her accent. She felt anxious speaking up in meetings and definitely wanted to avoid public speaking at all costs because her inner critic said, who's going to listen to you? Right. So in our coaching shifted when we started focusing on who she wants to be. And she was able to connect with an ally, which was her dog. And using what I love about CTI is that it really encourages us to use all our senses, everything that's available to us. And so the ally she connected with, her dog, she noticed his paws, wrestling in the ground, the smell of wet leaves when she walked him, and this curiosity that he had to connect with anyone who walked by. And that's a quality that she really took to heart and embodied when she felt most herself. And that just unearthed an amazing mantra for her to quiet her inner critic that they don't matter. They being anyone foolish enough to think less of her because of her accent. And so she created this image to keep that alive of, I'm stepping into me. And there was such resonance when she said that. And that's I feel really privileged to be witness when that happens, because there is just such a wonder in that moment and such a texture when people are able to uncover that for themselves. It's really special. And a profound change happened for her after. I mean, she raised her hand to lead a global town hall for her organization, right? This is the person who is terrified of public speaking. She raised her hand to lead a roundtable for women. And she then shared her story about how she felt ashamed about her accent. And audience members approached her after saying, wow, that was so inspiring to hear. And it helped them overcome their own doubts. She then led an enormous transformation at her organization. It was a really destabilizing time. And then she led an entire vertical. And she shared with me that she felt proud of how she approached that challenge by just being the me I want to be and not being the me I think I have to be. And so I just admire her. I admire so many of the clients that I work with because of their commitment to the coaching and to walking the talk, where each session, and people leave with steps to take. Each session, they come back with learnings and updates and things that are still in play for them. And seeing people just really have that, what is it? It's not finding their happy place. There's more of a serenity and a confidence and just a knowing when people connect with their inner leader that that really inspires me to continue coaching. Okay, something I wish I knew. I think when I decided to become a coach, first, just telling people, hey, what what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a leadership coach. I'm an executive coach. Even saying that was a big step for me. And so I think I felt a little bit of this pressure that, oh, if I tell people I'm a coach, I need to be this, wise C-suite executive whisperer. Like there was a pressure for me to be just all, zen and perfect and knowing, but I am not perfect. I am human. And so is every coach. And just because I help people find direction and confidence doesn't mean that I don't ever lack direction or confidence. It doesn't mean I have it all figured out. It means I also have my own coach who helps me figure it out. And that the coaching is about the partnership, not about any one person being all knowing. So once I just really embraced that, it really released some of the pressure that actually allowed me to be a better coach. So I hope that anyone starting their coaching journey can release that maybe a little bit sooner if they have that. I wasted, and I would say I don't ever do this anymore, but I wasted a lot more time before coaching and energy trying to be not me. And coaching has helped me just pump those brakes and actually harness my own energy to propel me forward. And that has been really, really invigorating, really motivating to just be able to be me, to have that comfort and that conviction to be me. So was a huge learning. Uh, and another impact would be just a bit more compassion for everyone, right? I'm tough on myself and I can be tough on others. And through coaching, what I've realized is I have a lot to give. You have a lot to give. Everyone who listens to this has a lot to give. And so even just saying that, I feel my body just like softening and wanting to just give, just extend a big hug to everyone. And that feeling of connectedness is wonderful. Instead of feeling I don't know, like being in a proving, like I need to prove myself mode. Um, and I guess that would be the last bit. It's coaching has helped me loosen the grip on I need to be right. This narrative that the more right I am, the more valuable I am, right? That puts me in a constant proving mode that turns out to be quite isolating. And so coaching, right, is about holding things lightly. Hey, client, you tell me what's right and what's not. And that's just That's just a nicer way of being in the world. The power of coaching, I would say, is the idea of an empowered relationship. What do you need for this relationship to work? What do I need for this relationship to work? And actually talking about it. I facilitate courses on communication and emotional intelligence at Stanford, and it's intensive work that also requires empowered relationships with other facilitators, faculty, with the students to help them explore expressing themselves more authentically and connecting with others deeply and giving and receiving feedback, which is vulnerable and therefore terrifying for a lot of us. And it's the empowered relationships that keep the whole thing going. And I can say the same for my personal relationships as well. It's the most popular elective at Stanford for the business school at Stanford, the Graduate School of Business, for 50 years running. It's called Interpersonal Dynamics, and the focus is on how to build productive relationships with other people. It's a crash course in emotional intelligence. I took it as a student there, and then I and then I decided to go into coaching, and I found myself facilitating that course the very next year. And and what I love about it is helping people connect with themselves. There's a course at Stanford, there's a course in the continuing studies program, and what I hear over and over are students just feeling so dissatisfied with with their ability to feel their own emotions and to connect deeply with other people. And through that course, where people actually like practice those skills with each other, it, students have said, wow, I feel emotional for the first time. It's sometimes for people, it's the first time they're hearing that, wow, I matter to this group, that I have an impact, that I'm valued, and what that opens up for them. It can be a deeply connecting experience, and yeah, uh, it's really rewarding to be a part of. So coaching helps me be a stronger facilitator for these courses on communication at Stanford because, well, one, there's a tracking and a listening to even the different levels of listening and tracking what's going on in a group of 12, let's say, because the methodology is a group of 12 students who sit in a circle in a room. There's very little structure, very little authority, and seeing and becoming aware of the dynamics in the room with ourselves, between other people, and as a group. And so being able to be open to what comes up in the room and not panic is important for facilitators. And I think coaching has helped give me kind of that patience with the students that I work with. And also, I think I go back to having an empowered relationship and building trust with the students, because um, that allows for the sharing and the vulnerability and the learning, really harnessing the wisdom of the group. We learn to use ourself in kind of a strategic way, not in telling a client what to do, but in saying, hey, wow, what you shared with me just had this impact on me. How did it feel for you? And so there's this use of self in the coaching that I think that really helps with facilitation. Is maybe teaching, it can be distancing. It's like, oh, let me tell you what to do. And the facilitation I do at Stanford, it's the facilitator is in there, right in there with the students. And so also using that self in the facilitation is one of the ways to build trust and to almost model what we're trying to share with the students as well. And so I think coaching uh, has helped me get more comfortable just jumping in the pool. with students and with clients. Yeah. In this world of do, go, to be part of, what is it, 150,000 people now who embrace that the being is just as important as the doing. And that if we're being distracted or frantic or huffing and puffing, that is not aligned with how I want to be. And just to pay attention to the being part as much as I would naturally pay attention to the doing has been a really important part of learning the coactive method. Uh, and this, I guess, this community of being part of 150,000 plus and growing every day coaches. I mean, I get to say, oh, so you're saying I get to hang around with people who are self-aware, who listen well, who want to help people, be the best version of themselves? I think that's amazing. And what I have found is connecting with other coaches, with other, CPCCs, is there's a depth of connection. There's a courage and directness in the communication that is so refreshing to be around because we're all trying to walk the talk and live that coactive life. So, what getting certified did for me was it really expanded my toolkit in a really meaningful way. It's like I said, I came from sales. I have a psychology background. There are certain things. There is, of course, my default mode of how I would coach. And what getting certified, becoming a CPCC did was uh, just offer me a host of more tools and a way of being with my clients. What and getting in touch with more of the sensory tools of the inner leader, understanding the saboteur, and getting people to embody their leaders, embody that place, and see how that transformation unfolds. And the certification allowed me, it takes learning takes time. And there's something that can happen over, the 6 months of certification that isn't able to happen over a quick weekend. It gave the space to start connecting the dots. And to be able to do that with a group of other people also getting their certification, there was so much exchange and support in that group. And so that's really what I got out of coaching. And the people in my CPCC, we still ping each other and celebrate each other. And so that's just a nice support to know that I have moving forward. So, when I think of synchrony, I think we move in sync, we're together, there's a harmony and a rhythm associated with it. Like I said, my coaching business is inner radio. And so there's a musical theme in a lot of what I do. And being in sync with how I'm being and what I'm doing, both being aligned with my values is what I think of when I think of coactive.